We originally came here as immigrants from Afghanistan. We came to Canada in the early 1990s. I was 9 years old. I was the oldest of five. Suleiman was the second. We were a very close-knit family. Right off the beginning, we knew Suleiman was special from the rest of us. He was more athletic than all of us, and academically, he was leaps and bounds ahead of myself and the rest of my siblings. Suleiman was enrolled at the University of Waterloo's engineering program. During his second semester in his first year, he got into a car accident. Shortly after this car accident, Suleiman was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And his life's trajectory would forever change. December 15th, 2016, it was a Thursday night. Two police officers came to my family's home. An incident happened with a neighbor, a confrontation happened with the neighbors, and he ended up being taken into custody. Suleiman was ordered by a judge to be transferred to the Ontario Shore Centre for Mental Health. He was supposed to be transferred to a hospital, and the only reason he didn't make it was because he was waiting for a bed. The two police officers informed my father that Suleiman passed away after an incident with the guards. My understanding is every single time when the Canadian mental health was executed with respect to Suleiman, he was taken into a hospital. The question we now have to ask is, why was he taken to the Central East Correctional Centre, where he lost his life at the hands of individuals that were supposed to take care of him? According to the coroner, at the time of his death, Suleiman had 50 bruises on his body. A significant number of these bruises were blunt impact trauma. Both his legs and his hands were tied. He was pepper sprayed twice.
Was it common, Yusuf, that because of his condition, he would have episodes that might lead to confrontations?
No, he was not a violent person. The thing with that day is that we weren't there. Nobody in the family was there, so we weren't able to comment on it because we didn't see that. People with schizophrenia, it's diverse. Some can get very intense, non-cohesive, non-understandable, whereas others, when they have an episode, they're just not able to make sense when they're talking. I always think about the end of his life, the last few minutes of his life, when he was asking for help, yet they ended up taking his life. It hurts. It's reliving that moments of violence that he went through. For me, reform looks like people with mental illness are not to spend a day in jail. When they're inside the system, it's very hard for them to get outside of the system. And the system can be a revolving door. People with mental illness should be in institutions with individuals that have the appropriate tools. It should not be a guard that should be dealing with someone with mental illness. It should be a social worker, a psychiatrist, a nurse. What we take solace in, what we take hope in, myself and the rest of the family, is for having Suleiman's story heard. I do think people on the ground are working hard about changing and shifting the focus into mental illness, but I think we got a ways to go. People still don't view mental illness in the critical importance that it needs to have. His story will continue to be spoken about because he mattered. Mental illness has to matter. It is our job to show compassion. It is our job to show humility. It is our job to show respect. And it is our obligation to help them. My name is Yusuf Fikiri, and this is my brief but spectacular take on the story of my brother.